Welcome to the Our Team Podcast, powered by eXp Realty. Are you an agent looking to level up? Are you someone looking to buy or sell real estate? Fantastic. This is the show for you.
All right, we're ready to go. Thank you for joining us here on the Our Team Podcast. It probably wasn't easy to say yes to this.
No, it was not. I have no experience in this whatsoever.
You just became an expert at podcasting.
This is all it takes?
That's all it takes.
I don't know what I'm here for. Then I'm gonna do this as my career.
That's right. Just make sure you stay really close to the mic and don't tap the table too much because it'll
screw things
up.
All right.
So I have David Grimes. You like to go by Dave or David?
I don't care, but it's Gramse.
Oh, Gramse.
Yeah, it's a A, not a I.
Oh, so I've been calling you David Grimes for kind of a while now. Thanks. Now I'm embarrassed because, do you know how to pronounce my last name?
I'm going to go Our.
Okay, that's cheating because our name's all over the building here.
Right.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. Gramse?
That's okay. Like even my own family doesn't know how to say it. So like my father has 5 siblings.
Yeah.
And 3 of the 6 say Gramse, like a long A, and 3 of them say Grams.
Oh, okay.
So we don't even know how to say it in our own family.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure that's a problem that you guys will have to just continue to deal with. I can't even help you with that at all. Sorry. Well, the reason you're here is because I want the people that are regulars on, that watch all the episodes and or listen to all of them. I want them to get to know you a little bit. We're just getting to know you better now. Why don't you tell everybody what you do and just introduce yourself?
All right. Well, my name's David, and I'm a mortgage loan originator, to use the big, long official title. But been in lending for basically 30 years, ever since coming out of college. Seen all the different markets and everything else, and that's what I do, I guess, in a nutshell. It was nothing I ever went to college and said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a loan officer. Right. It just sort of happened.
Yeah.
I had a guy, my dad's a broker. I'm actually a broker too.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Didn't know if you knew that, but my dad was in real estate and was a broker, and he used to have a bunch of agents that he worked with.
Yeah.
And he sort of retired, and then one of those guys called me because I used to do the bookkeeping for my dad, and one of those guys called me up one day, and he's like, "Hey, my wife works at Quicksilver, and we thought there's an accounting opening." And I'm like, I've kind of learned I don't want to be an accountant. It's kind of...
But that's what you went to school for, accounting?
Actually, my degree's in business and then a finance, like a finance
cool
concentration. But anyways, I was like, maybe accounting, but I don't know. I'm like, what are you doing now? Because I knew you didn't work for my dad anymore.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm doing loans. And I'm like, tell me about it. And then it's just like, you want to come in for an interview? 2 days later, interview. 2 days later, I've started the job.
So that was 20 years ago.
No,
I'd
say it was over 30. Yeah.
Wow.
I just remember being very excited because I had my job out of college, which was a little bit commission, but mostly salary.
Yeah.
And I went and did my training like in December, and then in like January, I made $11,996.
Still remember it to this day.
Yeah, to the dollar.
Yeah.
And it just was a complete paradigm shift in terms of, I used to think by time. So I'd think by the time. Like I'd be like, can I take the bank deposit?
Yeah.
Because I'd get time and a half for 30 minutes, and that'd be great. So instead of making, I don't know what I was making, $15 an hour, I was going to make $22 an hour for 30 minutes, and I thought that was awesome. And I thought by time.
Right.
And now it's like, you think by, I guess, production or...
yeah, totally. That's how I do it. I think about production. I think about, units, of course, for a variety of reasons, and then volume for a variety of reasons. You've been in the industry for 30 years. That's impressive. A lot of people are thinking about retirement by the time they've been somewhere for 30 years, but you're not. You're still totally doing this. You look way too young to retire anyway.
Thanks.
But in the 30 years, you've seen a lot of change, right? What's one of the most notable changes that you've seen in the lending industry?
Well, I mean, the biggest change, maybe I should say I've only been in the business 28 years because, when the market dislocated in '07 or, whatever it was, I mean, I did leave for a little bit. I was in the subprime industry making the best money I've ever made, ever, like doctor money.
Yeah.
And then I made minimum wage in like 2 months.
That's crazy.
Something like that. Like just that much of a drop off, which I couldn't believe.
Were you working for Countrywide?
I worked for Fremont Investment and Loan.
Okay.
So we used to think, I thought we were better off because we were an actual bank.
Yeah.
So I thought that meant I worked for a more stable company.
Mm-hmm.
But what it really did was make us have FDIC regulators.
Yeah.
And be one of the first to go out.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, like the news vans pulling into the parking
yeah.
lot, interviewing, getting my leather high back chair, putting my stuff on it, and walking out past the news crews.
That is crazy. Yeah, that was a very hectic time.
Yeah, it was bad.
I've been in real estate for a very long time, but actually didn't start practicing real estate sales like we are till right around 2007, 2008. So I came in when everything was crashing, and I came into the REO scene. So I have an extensive background in bank-owned homes, selling REOs, working with asset managers and field asset companies, and doing lots of valuations, BPOs, and all that stuff, and just kind of assembling teams and doing that for during that time, I remember just these banks that were just coming out of the woodworks, having us just sell as many properties as we can for them. I don't think it's ever going to get to that again. But
I don't think so either, because the lending we were doing then was really dumb. It was really stupid.
Yeah, they weren't checking anything, right?
It was a 620, 100% financing stated income, even for a wage earner who can easily prove their income. So why do they even need stated?
Did you carry around a little mirror and just put it on something so that you could see if there's breath?
See if
if they're
as
breathing.
the test. Yeah.
If you can fog this mirror, you can get a loan.
You'll get a loan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm glad to see those days are gone. I mean, for a while when 2012 hit and things were kind of correcting in 2012 into 13, we were moving away from the REO scene, kind of just doing more traditional real estate. And I was representing a lot of buyers and sellers at the time, but it was tough because it was very hard to get a loan.
Yes.
Coming out of that, it was really difficult to get a loan. I mean, they were checking, double, quadruple checking. But, I mean, I don't even think they knew how strict they needed to become so that this wouldn't happen again.
Right.
And so they just made it so strict that it was very difficult.
Yeah, I always think of it like, just like a pendulum. You know what I mean? So they overcorrect. Like you say, the pendulum was way too easy. Like the example I just gave, just way too easy.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a loan.
Yeah.
And the only reason the banks weren't losing is because everybody's house was going up in value.
Yeah.
So fast. And then as soon as they started to kind of not go up, now it's like, okay, now the bank can lose.
Yes.
And then once it started,
it was just
you started the cards. It's over. But I don't think. I agree with you that I don't think that's going to happen because, I don't feel like I'm giving away stupid loans anymore. Like, the loans I would give, I guess if I were a bank, I think I probably would be willing to give them.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to happen either. But I was curious.
Everyone that's in a house right now not only has equity in most cases, but they have also been so vetted that the chances of that kind of a, it just was so chaotic. Everyone was losing their homes. People were just walking away because they just decided, of course I can afford this, but everyone else is walking away. I'll just walk away too. It just became almost a fad to just let it go. And that's never going to happen again. I really don't think. We're going to see some short sales. We're going to see some, some corporate sales and things like that. But I just don't believe we're going to see. And I still get all the emails. I'm still tied in with, a lot of my old roots that are wanting me to register here and pay this fee and do this because REO is coming back. I don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even playing into it.
Well, do you think, I mean, I'd love to hear your opinion, but do you think it's, like, to me, it seems like there's going to be some REO. I think what it is right now is there's just basically there's no REOs practically at this point.
There's always situations where a bank will have to take a property back. There's so many reasons for that, but I'm not saying there's never going to be REO. I'm just saying it's never going to be that.
It's not going to collapse. Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. And now what banks are doing is they're taking those failed notes and they're just, selling them to investors, and then investors are going and they're knocking on the door and they're saying we own your home now, and it's not like the bank dealing with it. Their banks are saying, here, take this over.
Right.
And so. And then they're selling tape as well. They're getting, huge portfolios of these failed notes, and they're selling them for 60 cents on the dollar or 70 cents on the dollar, whatever. And they're just letting large corporations kind of take care of that. So, the REO scene that I'm talking about is the agent getting an email saying you have a new listing,
Right.
It's just not going to be like that. So maybe there could be a bunch of REOs that hit, but it's not going to be the traditional way that we're used to back in the day when you had all these REO agents like me that were getting our listings from the different banks, different asset management companies, and listing them. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to be like, we'll see them hit the market, but it's going to be, an LLC that's sold them. It's not going to go to agents. It's going to go to those companies. But I just don't think there's going to be a huge number of them because there's people have equity in their home. So if they are behind in their payments, there's a workaround. Mm-hmm. We can help you sell it. We can sell it to an investor that'll allow you to rent it from them. I mean, there's all kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and from, just strictly from the loan perspective, because some of the more aggressive loans are kind of coming back, and I think they should be there.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be, if somebody's going to put 50% down, then I don't think it's bad if they get a stated income option or a bank statement option. They have a lot of skin in the game, and I think that was one of the main problems last time is they had no skin in the game.
Yeah.
And they didn't prove that they were worthy to make a payment.
And everyone was lying about their income so they could get into a house.
Right.
Everyone. I mean,
right.
it was rampant. So, but anyway, those days are gone. I think that's going to go away. Let's talk a little bit, shift gears to what are the things that you are seeing in the industry now that you're really happy about?
I think it's just, to me, it doesn't seem like change is happening all that fast.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it's pretty slow, but I think that's good. You know what I mean? Because, when that market happened in 2007, believe me, I was upset, because it changed my life dramatically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, come on, the smart people couldn't see this coming.
Yeah.
These head honchos at Goldman Sachs or Lehman Brothers or whatever.
Couldn't have figured out a softer landing.
Yeah,
right?
you couldn't see the future on this. So I'm happy that the change does seem slow. You know what I mean? And like you mentioned before, like the pendulum, it got ridiculous to try to get a loan right after. But it's getting better all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
And nothing happens all that fast.
What about rates? Rates just went up again a couple of days ago. We're kind of been flirting with 7%. We're kind of there again.
Yeah.
I still believe in my heart of hearts, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for it, but I think we're going to see fives.
I think you're going to too.
I think we're going to see fives, and it's still going to be 2023.
I feel like I read more and more often that recession's coming. So I think when that does, you know what I mean? I think there's just no way around it that rates are going to drop. And I don't know, the articles I kind of read too, or when they're trying to make predictions, and the further and further out that prediction gets, like if it's a 6-month prediction, it's X percent that rates are going to be the same or lower. And then you go out further and it's a higher percent. You go out further than that, it's an even higher percent.
Right.
And,
We talk a lot about various different people that we really respect in this industry, and one of our favorites to listen to is Barry Habib. You know him?
I've heard the name, but not too familiar.
You need to look him up, check him out. He's one of those guys who's I don't think he's ever been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll say the most outlandish things, and everyone thinks he's crazy, but the way he tracks and measures things and the way he predicts things, it just seems like he's right all the time. Really, really, really bright. And so he's very confident that we're going to hit 5%, or in the fives, not 5%, but even if it's 5.9, we're going to see fives this year. And he gives all kinds of proof and backs it up with all kinds of stats and population reports and all kinds of things, and just where the Fed's heading and all this different stuff. And it's really it's nice to have people like that in your tool belt of people that you respect and listen to. Barry Habib, totally not sponsored by his company or anything like that, but I really appreciate what he has to say. And I listen to Inman and Keeping Current Matters and stuff like that. So I'm kind of always up on what the plus we have agents in our organization that are senior partners of ours that are way smarter than me, and I'm always kind of gleaning, from them, and they're always talking about what the market's doing, where they think it's going, and they're also quoting a lot of Barry Habib stuff. So I mean, they can't all be wrong. But anyway, so I'm hopeful. I just think it's got to be hard as a lender when you're used to giving quotes of, okay, trying to buy a $700,000 house, I got 20% to put down, and you're quoting them.
Yeah.
Well, your payment's going to be $5,900 a month or whatever it is, right?
They do seem very high.
It's like, I'm afraid to tell you this, but right now your payment's going to be very high. Do you tell people that it's okay though, because you're dating the rate? You marry the house, but you're only dating the rate.
Yeah, and there's the functions like you can do the buy downs, like the 3-2-1 buy downs, where you can not even have a high rate for a couple of years.
Yeah.
If you buy into it, I believe what you believe.
Yeah.
Fives by this year, I really, really hope so. That's faster. If you made me guess, it's faster than what I would guess.
Yeah.
But I would love that. And yes, I do think. I do think rates are going to go lower. Is it going to be 6 months or 2 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so because everyone's so confident that they're going to go lower, and values are continuing to go up because of the shortage of inventory, then it's really not that risky to just get in now. Rates are higher. Do a 3-2-1 buy down, or do some type of something that even the seller can participate in if there's not too much pressure on that property.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the seller do that. It makes more sense to get in with a higher rate now while home values are going up, because you can refi when they come down. I mean, it makes sense to refi if they come down. What's the cutoff for it making sense? A full point or what?
No, see, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that 1 point thing.
Yeah.
I think that's when houses cost $35,000. That's when you needed to save 1% for it to make sense. To me, I always look at break evens. I'm honestly, I've never been a big fan of paying a lot of fees to get a loan.
Yeah.
I don't think you should.
Yeah.
Maybe in certain markets you could. Like when you had COVID and you said, "Oh, I don't want 3%. I'm going to pay to get 2.5." I'm more okay paying points then, because what are the odds that our rates are going to go below 2.5?
That's right.
So maybe then, but now I don't think I would recommend you pay any points. I wouldn't buy the rate down. I wouldn't do it. If I was going to take any money from the seller, like you were mentioning, like there's some kind of seller concession or something, I would do it in the form of a buy down, which is just money right into the buyer's pocket, less interest for those few years.
Yeah.
And you only, hopefully during that time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
During that couple of years or however long your buy down is for, rates have already dropped.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I have some clients where I've done 8 loans for them on one property.
Yeah.
And it's because I do the loan completely free. So when I say completely free, I'm not joking like at the slightest. That means the lender credit pays everything. Like even if it's an appraisal, the lender credit pays for it all. They really, you can even get paid to do a loan, meaning let's just say a loan has true closing costs of $4,000 or something. You know, it all depends on the rate that you pick. But if I give you a lender credit for $7,000 and I put $3,000 in your impound account for you,
Yeah.
I just paid you
To refi.
$3,000 to do the loan.
Yeah.
I just paid you. So I've like I said, I have some clients where you're like, well, 8, that sounds like it's illegal. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
But to go through the process of refinance, though, wouldn't you say the average person kind of has in their mind, I'm at 7%, but I really can't start to think about refinancing until it hits what, 6.5 or 6?
I think it depends on the size of the loan. So
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's a variable
if
you have
it's
to
a
consider.
$600,000 loan and I save you 0.25%,
Yeah.
is $1,500 enough for you to jump? It's over $100 a month. Some people will do it for $25 a month. Some people will do
Wow.
it. Some people are like,
As long as that
Don't
refi is not
bother me.
loaded up with a bunch of fees.
well, and that's what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah.
When I make these kind of comments, I'm mostly referring to like a client that I've given a free loan
Gotcha,
to,
gotcha.
where they might even be a couple $1,000s ahead the day the loan funds. The very day they're already $2,000 ahead,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Wow.
Or at a minimum, they're not behind.
Right.
You know, like because they paid literally nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you're paying points, that's when you really, you know, that's just making a bet. That's what I think. You know, if you're going to pay points to buy down a rate, then you're making a bet you're going to have that loan for a long time. So one of the things I always like to do with my clients is I like to compare different rates. So it's like you can pay this much in loan fees and get this payment, because that's all you're doing is buying a payment. You're buying a note that says, I owe this many dollars at this rate at this payment. That's what a loan is. So if you pay more money, I give you a note with a lower rate on it and a lower payment. So if that payment is $50 less, but it costs you $5,000 more, well, then you better be on that loan for 100 months.
That's right.
Or you made the wrong choice.
Exactly.
So and to me, 100 months is way too long. You know, like I would never do that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's where it's an individual case for every single buyer or every single borrower.
So it sounds to me like you have such a good grasp on the whole industry and different products and different loans, different scenarios, and what, you know, you can work with the buyer pretty closely and give them really sound counsel.
I try to give them sound counsel. Ultimately, it's always up to them. You know, and I let them know that like you can do whatever rate you want. You want to pay $25,000 in discount points if you really want to do it, I can do it for you. But I do try to point out,
You
like,
at least want to show them maybe on
Yeah.
a quick email spreadsheet.
This
If
is-
you
yeah.
do that, then this is what it's going to be,
This
and
is
you're going to have to stay
Right.
here for this amount of time.
just to break even.
Right.
And so if you're wrong, and you don't do it, you know, you don't keep that loan that long, and it's not staying in the house, it's
Right.
staying in the loan.
Right.
So if you don't stay in the loan that long, then you lost.
Right.
So
Crazy.
And then see, especially right now, like we seem to be in agreement that rates are going to drop.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's 6 months or 2 years, whatever. 2 years is still not
Yeah.
long enough really
Yeah.
to pay a lot
That's
to
right.
get the loan, even if it takes 2 years.
Yeah. So look what's going to happen. So all the loans that you're closing right now at, you know, between 6 and 7%, I mean, they're going to be really good refi customers in
There's
a
gonna
couple
be,
of years.
Yeah, it's going to be probably a refi boom again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the 2020s, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be a nice
As-
refi boom. And you know, again, every client will be different, and every loan amount's different. So who knows? But
Yeah.
they might refi over and over and over, just following rates down, down, and down. And some
Yeah.
people will say, like, well, you know, like let's say 0.5%. Like let's say I can do 0.5% lower. Well, I'm going to wait till it gets to 1. Well, what if it never gets to 1?
Yep.
And then you walked away from the half. So it's
Yeah.
like, just take the half.
Yeah.
And the loans are not that hard. You know,
Mhm.
you save the client's information. So like these loans where I've done repeated loans to the same
You
client.
have a lot of their documentation.
Usually it's just like, I just need your newest pay stubs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Done.
Or maybe another W-2's come out since then.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know
That's
what I mean?
cool.
They're not that hard. So the work that the client has to put in is really low. There's been some times where like a client saving $50 and they're like, it's not worth it. I'm like, can I do the work and I'll take the $50?
Yeah. That's right.
I would be happy to.
That's cool. Well, so your follow-up must be really good so you can stay in touch with your past clients, because you definitely, when it is time to refi, everyone's going to be bombarding everyone that has,
Right.
you know, that has a high rate. So you want to be top of mind.
Yeah, you want to capture them and have some kind of system that stays, like I said, keeps you top of mind.
Yeah.
Stay in front of them.
That's the goal with what we do. I mean, from the content that we put out there to the mailers that we have out there to our regular drip campaigns and things like that. I like to call them nurture campaigns. Drip campaign sounds kind of gross.
Right.
Sounds kind of leaky.
Yes,
you know what I
it
mean?
does.
But the nurture campaigns that we have going out are designed to just, give value and keep us top of mind. So if you're doing that with your clients, geez.
I just wish I could have told my 22-year-old self.
Yeah.
But then I guess sometimes when you think back that far, it's like I didn't have an iPhone. Like there wasn't even smartphones or.
That's true. It was
You
a
know
lot
what I mean?
harder. It was a lot. So I think, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people about technology. And one ways our business is so much easier because of technology. In another way, it's created so much digital noise that it's really easy to get lost in it.
Yes.
And so back in the old days when your way of communicating with your database was, or didn't even have a database, right? You just had like spreadsheets or, 3x5 cards,
Index
right?
cards.
Yeah, index cards. So it was the, what was it called? The Rolodex.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting is the agents that are really crushing it right now have gone back to that. They're literally sending out really simple emails.
Mm-hmm.
They're sending out, they're keeping the digital thing going, but they're getting the most traction on some of the stuff we talked about in the office meeting today. Just the simple old school stuff.
Right.
Sending out a letter, getting belly to belly with people and stuff like that. It's really effective. So, and that's because being digital in our industry is so easy that everyone's doing it, everyone's automated, and so now the way to stand out is to just not do as much of that. Well, you still have it going because you got to compete, but to really get traction, you got to go old school and knock on a door and do some of those things.
A little more personal or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to, anything that's kind of burning in your heart to share about what's going on in the market or what you do or why you're different? Or, I mean, it's your time to shine, brother.
Well, I guess, for me, I think the thing that sets me apart the most is I really care. So I want things to go well. I've seen loan officers that they just don't care. I've seen them tell clients that their loan is locked, and then they don't lock it because they can lock for shorter, and then their commission check is bigger. So I really, really care, I guess, is the thing that stands out. Where I think I stand out the most is just that I care, because you can't stand out so much in terms of product. So it's really a
lot of people have the same product,
Yeah. So I don't think you can stand out that much that way. So it's just, if you care and you put the customer first and you do the right thing, help them make the right choice. Especially the people that haven't done it before. They need help trying to, like that 5 discount point thing. I really have a borrower that wanted to do that, and I'm like, you want to spend $25,000, right?
You don't have to.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, if you want, again, if you want to, you can. Cool. But then I try to point out that this is why you don't want to. Yeah. But if you still think you want to,
well, the reason you've been in this for 30 years is because you care. That's what it is. Because that's the, if you have a certain love language and this is the vehicle for you to just really care about people, so really helping them through this product. It's not all about the money. You've proved that already by saying you're willing to refi and do all that stuff for free, right? And so you can't, nothing says I really care more than I'll just do it for free and you owe me nothing. I mean, the rules of reciprocation kick in there, and so when there is an opportunity to do something where you can earn money off that client, they're going to choose you every time, and they're going to refer you every time. But, I mean, truly, you're doing it for free because you care. That's a pretty easy way to prove.
It is. Well, I want to correct you because nothing's free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I say I'm doing a loan for free, I don't mean I'm doing it for and earning absolutely zero.
Yeah.
I
there's
can't
got to be some minimum standard.
Yeah.
Right?
So, but what you do is you just don't get greedy. You don't go out there and try to make multiple points off of every loan. You set yourself a fair compensation. You let the lender credit cover it.
Yep.
And then to the client, it is free. So
That's what
I'm
yeah.
not misspeaking there. But I just don't want to put out the false thing that I donated my time. And
No. Yeah, I
and
wasn't saying that.
so did the realtor, or
I
so
can-
did the agent.
So if I can reword that, it would be more like you have an opportunity to make quite a bit of money, and no one's going to haggle over it because it's just part of the deal. But you choosing to structure it in a way that doesn't cost the client anything.
Right. And I go in at reduced comp, let's say, might be a good way to say it, but at a reduced fee, and it makes it, and then the client gets a benefit, I get a benefit, and everybody benefits, and
very cool.
then that client comes back. Like I said, sometimes as many as like 8 times on one property.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend you for that reason.
Good.
It seems like you'd be a good fit.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thank you for joining us. Those of you who've stuck around this long, thank you for being there, and we will catch you on the next one.
Hey, wait, before you go, would you do
That's
us
all.
a favor?
All right.
If you found any value in this content, would you please like and subscribe to it? Maybe even leave a comment? It really helps us out.